They do it with blue screens. Against blue, they can put in any background they choose. To see how it's done, let's tear this shot apart. The background is the explosion. The ship is shot against a blue screen. It'll become clear why later, but essentially they need an accurate outline of the ship against black. The blue is made black by reprinting through filters. The garbage, that's the man, the lamp and so on, is removed easily. The film is reprojected and cards mask the garbage out. The important point of the blue screen is that through it they can preserve the detailed outline of the ship, whilst by other tricks make the ship itself a completely clear area. The cards get rid of the rubbish. So starting from the blue screen frame, a black mask is made which has in it a clear hole that exactly matches the outline of the ship. This is called the foreground matte. The magic in the process is that as the ship moves against blue, it can be used to make a travelling mask that always exactly fits it. One more piece of film is needed before the ship can at last be put into the explosion. That's the second film up, a solid black ship on a clear frame. It's called the background matte. This is an optical printer on which the shot is put together. It shines a light through two separate pieces of film so their images are combined and that new image is rephotographed. For this shot, the background and foreground mattes are loaded into the projectors to check the film elements will line up. A few thousandths of an inch aligns the projectors for this particular shot. Then the background matte comes out so that the blue screenshot of the ship and the foreground matte are in together. The reason at last for the mattes becomes clear. When the printer is running, the foreground mask is holding back the light from everything but the ship itself. All that's being rephotographed is the ship alone. The red knob shows the film moving as it records the ship flying by. The film just exposed is not developed after this pass. While the background matte and explosion are laced up, it's rewound to its start mark for a second pass. Now it's the explosion being rephotographed. The black hole prevents any more light falling in the latent image of the ship and so spoiling it. The result in slow motion. Misalignment would show as black lines around the edge of the ship.
Shorty! Chao Chi! Lapsu Sansa!
Hannah, lady, we go for a ride!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Is he nuts?
He's no nuts. He's crazy.
Molaram! Prepare to meet Kali in hell! Oh! Put it away!
This was a fairly complex shot. We were dealing with footage that had already been shot in England, or that I was over there when they were being shot, and we were fixed into certain parameters. we're supposedly a few hundred feet above the water, but in fact, the suspension bridge, the bottom of it, was about 10 feet above cushions to protect people in case anybody fell and for the stuntmen to fall on. So what we needed to do was to extend the cliff so it appeared to go down a few hundred feet more and then add a river down below it. So we had to change the figures from real stuntmen to puppets.
Howie Steins, supervising editor.
We'll start off here looking at the original VistaVision plate, which was shot in England at the studio on location. We realized for compositional purposes, it would have been a little better to have the direction of the shot rather than going down into the corner to go a little more across the frame. So we then did a slight tilt on it, as you'll see in the black and white version here, where we're going a little more across frame. We then had to put the river element into the shot. This piece of film represents the river that we shot in Montana. Our next step was to make a composite of the live action and the river. So our matte artist can then create the painting, which is going to blend the two elements together.
The painting to join these sections is this strip of cliff. They also made a mat for the painting to use in the optical printer. When they looked closely at Indy's legs, they saw a problem. The legs were swinging where the painting was to go. So they put his legs in front of the painting. A special hand-drawn mask had to be made. For each frame, the outline of the overlapping legs and dangling bridge was drawn. The animation artist is working directly from the film shot over the cushions here in Britain. She does the outline for each of the 92 frames that makes up this shot. Then the outlines of the bottom of the swinging suspension bridge and Indy's legs are blocked in. When all 92 cells are finished, she films them in sequence. The machine she used to project the shot of Indy on the rope bridge is also a camera. She loads it with black and white film. It goes into the same gate and is held by the same pins that aligned the Indy footage. So her frames will match the original precisely. A film of hand-drawn masks is called an articulate matte. And here it is, all 92 frames of it. Again, in slow motion. And to see it work, watch for Indy's white trousers, swinging in front of the painted part of the cliff.
Well, the little figures, when they fall down, they have to fall down to what I call the gravity point, which is where, if you're looking down at something, is where gravity takes an object. And that's something that everyone senses, but unless you think about it, you don't know where it is. So all these figures that are falling had to be plotted, we call, and lined up to all fall toward a real specific point. And we did that by stop-motion puppets that were manipulated frame at a time and animated to tumble as they fell down and appear to fall down 300 or 400 feet.
Finally, there were the alligators.
So our next step was to shoot the miniature alligators in the little puddle of milk and water. If you look carefully, you might even see a stagehand dragging a chicken leg around this little pond to attract the alligator's attention. They were very uncooperative. And then we took all these elements, the live action plate, the river, the painting mat, the articulate mat, the 3 falling dummies, and the 3 alligator elements,